Thank you, Rita. Coming up on tonight's South Today. Out of options, why some children have been denied their first, second and even third choice of senior school.
We've been failed hugely by West Sussex County Council, and this time now is going to be filled with angst, and that's just not on.
We'll ask officials why they didn't act sooner despite knowing a population bulge was looming. Also tonight, the carnage to come. Fresh concern at the closure of a major road into Oxford for months at a time. A new gas-powered replacement for diesel ferries has arrived in Portsmouth as the city works to bring down air pollution.
When you feel sad, they will save the day. So let's celebrate World Book Day.
And for the love of stories, we join children dressed as favourite characters as schools celebrate reading. Good evening, I'm Alan Sinclair. We have been completely let down. Those are the words of angry parents tonight who say their children are the victims of a shortage of school places in parts of West Sussex. This year, West Sussex has seen an increase in secondary school applications, up by nearly 200 pupils to more than 9,000. The council insists that across the whole county, they've tackled that with the majority of pupils getting their first preference school. But that doesn't go near telling the full picture in West Shoreham. There, dozens of parents claim they've not been given their first, second or even third choice. They say they're left having to send children to schools with lower Ofsted grades miles away in neighbouring towns. Sean Killick has the story.
The move from junior to senior school can be a difficult one at the best of times, but it's been made worse for these children in Shoreham who've just been told they won't be going to their first, second or even third choice. Instead, they've been given St Andrew's High School around 6 miles away in Worthing.
I've never even heard of the school before. I thought I was definitely going to go to one of the schools on my list since I live so much closer there, but I was really shocked when it wasn't.
It's very unusual and horrible to get a school that you don't know about.
I'm just shocked because it's quite far away from us.
It's about 35 minutes just to get there or more.
I was expecting to go to different schools, it wasn't even on my list.
Parents from Swiss Gardens Primary say 35 children there have not been offered one of their top 3 schools. 25 have got St Andrews, which they say is too far away, a faith school which some don't want, and which Ofsted has rated as inadequate. And they say their children's expectations have been raised by going to familiarisation lessons at local Sir Robert Woodard Academy.
We had a science lesson there this week. We had maths last week and an English lesson the week before. We've got a football tournament there in a couple of weeks.
This should be a time for them that's full of enjoyment, excitement and anticipation, and also enjoying their last few months at primary school. And instead, we've been failed hugely by West Sussex County Council, and this time now is going to be filled with unknowing and angst.
Alistair Reid is Chair of Governors at Swiss Gardens Primary and 6 years ago set up a pressure group to raise concerns about a lack of places locally in this bulge year of children going through the system.
One of the schools, Sir Robert Woodard, had plans to build 8 new classes. They had architects' plans drawn up and they were never executed. So if they had done that, we wouldn't have a problem.
Whose fault is that?
I can only think of West Sussex. West Sussex have control of the admissions and they have control of the buildings.
I was the head of the schools department sitting here now. What would your message be?
You have known for 7 years that we are going to have an issue with numbers in Shoreham specifically. You've had time to plan for our children to have places in our community, in our local area. You have failed our children and it's not acceptable to send them to a different town. You will have to find a way to get places for all of our children in our local schools.
This is not a 1-year problem either. Next year the numbers are supposed to be even bigger, and for the next 3, 4, 5 years they are bigger. So we need to plan for that as well as try and resolve this year.
Sean Killick, BBC South Today, Shoreham.
Well, a short time ago, I spoke to Paul Wagstaff, West Sussex County Council's Assistant Director of Education and Skills, and I asked him what's gone wrong in the West Shoreham area.
I don't think anything's gone wrong. It's the matter of this year we've particularly had a bulge year going through in terms of admissions for Year 7, but that's been reflected nationally. So 96.1% getting one of their 3 choices is a significant success. I don't underestimate that there are some parents who may not got to one of their preferences, but we can never guarantee that we can do that. But what we have done is ensure that all of our children in West Sussex do have a place in September, and that's not something that all local authorities can achieve.
It is an unfortunate expression, a bulge year, but we did see this coming. In fact, we on South Today were reporting this 6 years ago. Why weren't West Sussex more prepared?
Well, we have been prepared and we've been working with this. Indeed, for this September, we've actually opened up an additional class in one of the local schools in Shoreham, and we've also increased admission capacity across our secondary schools in the area. So therefore, we do have sufficient places. What we can never predict, though, is how parents preference those when they put their admissions forward.
But if we drill into the situation in Shoreham a bit further, we know that there were proposals to expand one school to add 8 additional classrooms. That plan went away. Parents don't understand why, because clearly there is demand.
There is demand, and I think, as I've expressed earlier, there is a bulge coming through from our primary schools into secondary, and therefore we are looking at what we can make available within our secondary schools to manage this short-term bulge. We do know, and it's important to note, that we've actually recently consulted and concluded a process to remove 950 primary school places from across the South Coast Worthing area as well. So we do know that the numbers in primary are in decline, and that will gradually feed through into the secondary. So where we have made additional accommodation and additional places available this September, as those reduced numbers begin to feed through into the secondary in the coming years, there won't be the same need for actually permanent extended provision in that area.
We do know that some children attended familiarisation events at schools that they later have been told they're not going to. It's not great, is it?
It's not ideal, and I do recognise that some parents and children will be disappointed. When we start the admissions process in the autumn, all of the schools do offer open evenings and opportunities for parents to visit, and we do make it clear on the website that we have that we can never guarantee that every parent will have a school that they've preferenced, and so therefore they are encouraged to look more widely at what is available across the area. And if parents have chosen not to do that, it is very unfortunate. But what we will be doing, and I think it's important to note, that parents should contact our admissions team, who will provide help and guidance over the next few months in terms of what the options are for children from September.
It's a story, of course, we will continue to follow. Paul Wagstaff from West Sussex, thank you.